Hey, Shannon going rogue here. I think everybody knows how I just like to talk real talk. Grabbed our campaign strategist, Dominique, on about social media because I think social media sucks. To just say it like it is. But I would really like to know because I think so many of my doctors come to me, Dominique, and they're just saying, I know I have to do social media. And they're so weighted down by it. And, I want to know what they really need to do with social media because I think it just looks a lot different in 2024 than in the past 5, 7, even 10 years with this old dated, information about social media. So I know that there's like 3 different ways that people should really pay attention to social media. Today, I just want to talk about one.
What if
Um,
I talk about all three? Is Nico gone rogue? Is
is
Dante
Nico,
gone
oh,
rogue?
wait,
Who knows? Who
let's
knows?
go. So like give me the lowdown of
Yeah,
social.
so I get what you mean. The social media, it can be this airy fairy kind of, and you're like, hey, well, what actually is happening
Yeah.
behind the scenes? Right? We're not just looking at like a platform, but like what's the process? What's the psychological processes that people are going through before making a purchasing decision? And how is social media impacting that?
Right.
Right. So the first level of that, right, kind of more the top of the funnel, you have where content videos is going outwards to new potential audiences, to new potential leads, new potential patients. Right. So this is top of funnel. These are people who they don't necessarily know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And they are more in kind of the maybe early stages of a buying decision, right? Maybe they haven't decided, maybe they're, recently moved or considering a dentist or just have questions that need to be answered. That's kind of that first, I guess you could say, segment,
Okay.
right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think kind of for the doctors just to understand those different segments, like lightly understanding it, I think makes sense because then we know how to move forward in
Right.
that.
So you have that first segment, basically where kind of dental social media plays into that, right? Is creating valuable content. And what I mean by valuable content is content where you're sharing your expertise, you're
Mm,
sharing your personality. People can see your heart, people can see your vibe. You're answering questions, right? Thinking through where that consumer is at. What questions do they have about this service, right? What are even my options, right? What are all the options of all on four, all dental implants, implant retained dentures, right? People don't really know which one should I choose, right? Am I candidate for this, candidate for that, right? There's, how often should I go in for my cleaning? Different things, right? There's ways that you can essentially provide value to the marketplace, right? And that content, in social media can be delivered on, through ads when you're actually, paying to get in front of those people, or it can also just go out organically, right?
So tell me about like, I mean, what's the percentage of people on social media, like at that funnel point, like really looking at content from dentists, talking about this deep.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you're looking at just how many people want videos, you could say literally it's 96% of people
Mhm.
will say that watching a video is going to help them make a purchasing decision, right? And there's no question about how more and more people are on their phones these days,
Right.
right? I think it's 3 hours a day on his average spent on social media and scrolling and watching videos. That's crazy.
3 hours a day.
3 hours a day, something like that. Yeah. So there's and what we've seen with the trend with all business, and dental is not immune to this, is that where the eyeballs are, that's where the money goes. Where the
Okay.
attention is, that's where people's pocketbooks go, right?
And just to speak to that a little bit, because you're in marketing, you're our content strategist, you're always thinking that way. But I think to break it down to the dentist, because they are service providers. So they kind of like probably cringe a little bit when you're like, where the eyeballs are, the money is. But
Mhm.
honestly, it's where they put their priority because they have to be like their oral health or the commitment to take care of themselves. It takes some doing because they're going to put other priorities that they're watching in front of it, whether it's a house remodel, whether it's a brand new car, whether it's taking care of your kids. So when we're talking about even this top of the funnel, breaking it down and educating them on these higher ticket, on their oral health, really helps them to create this as a priority, right? And how many dentists do you think are doing this?
So yeah, first on what you're saying about the
Yeah.
priority, I would say that's actually more middle of the funnel.
Okay.
Talking about kind of making it a priority. Really, you want this to be about being the guy or
Okay.
girl, right? This is about being the authority, right? So this is about when they think of dentists, right? Because this is top of funnel. Maybe they're ready, maybe they're not.
Okay.
But you want it when they are ready, you're the person that they choose to move forward with because you've been the local guy, you've given them value, right? People purchase based off of value they predict to receive. That's the only reason why you ever purchase anything. And the best way to convince people to do that is by providing value up front. If you provide enough value up front, then people are okay. Well, once I actually purchase and move forward, I'm going to get even more of this.
Got
Right.
it.
So that's where the kind of crux of that is. And here's the thing: in our market, in marketing, if you go and look, every agency is doing this because they realize the impact of it, right? Any kind of small business that's more digitally focused is putting out video content. Coaching businesses are doing it, right? Agencies are doing it. Financial agencies are now doing it, right? Because they're seeing, what you put out in content is going to eventually have an impact on your bottom line, you know?
So my question again, like for dentistry,
Mhm.
like what are you seeing the percentage of dentists that are actually kind of grabbing this, right? Because you're saying that, 90%, 96% of the eyeballs are here on social
Almost
media.
none. Almost for dentists, almost none, because all dentists are afraid of it. It's still
Right,
blue ocean. For marketing, you'll find a million videos,
right.
right, like this that are educating. For dentists, almost none. You can literally go on to Google and type in Facebook ads library, right? And from that, you'll literally be able to see all the ads that are live on Facebook. Anyone's, you can just go type them in. They're all public. And you can look for dentists and you'll see it's all generic, unbranded content. Dentists just aren't doing it, right? And really, I would even challenge any dentist or office manager who's watching this, go find one local dentist in your area who's actually producing valuable content around high ticket services. I almost guarantee you're not going to find it.
Yeah. It's like 5%. Like it's just it's so small. And what I see with this conversation and trying to understand how we can direct the doctors really because they have little time, it's expensive, it's like, do they spend their time here in social media? That's what I want to dig into. And how much time and what does that social media look like, right? But when you're talking about, you know, maybe 10% of their competition might be doing this, that's a way to really capture a huge part of the market, especially in a very competitive landscape that the majority of them are in.
Right, exactly. As a whole, dentistry is extremely competitive. But you
Yes.
have this side of this whole digital, right? Like you said, the eyeballs, the focus, like this is where people's attention are. It's
Yeah.
not billboards, it's not in banners. Like you want to reach people, it's here.
Right.
So yeah, I mean for dentists specifically, I'd say 80% of that market share is open for the taking. Right. I mean, ads is one
Let's
thing.
go. We
Ads is
want
one
that
thing,
market
but
share.
let's grab it. But we're talking about actually providing valuable content, and it doesn't have to be highly produced. That helps,
Right.
but it doesn't have to be crazy. It's ultimately people. Are you sharing your expertise? Are you speaking like you're someone who really cares about their patients, like they really have a mission? And most doctors do. They haven't got there by accident. They have a
Right.
story. They have a reason why they've grinded through those tough times, and they're still there serving their patients. So it's just about sharing that story and sharing that expertise that they've already accumulated.
And I think too, there's so many barriers for dentistry being fear-based and money, the money's
Right.
a barrier, that sort of thing. And then, well, you talked about you corrected me at one point talking about top of funnel. So tell me a little bit about maybe that middle of the funnel.
Right. Okay. So that's more top of funnel, right? People who don't necessarily know who you are.
Mhm.
Now you have scenario B, right? This is scenario B of someone who has been referred to you, by another person,
Mm.
or maybe it's some of your other marketing efforts, right? Paid ads, organic SEO, different things like that, right? Anytime people are actually going to check you out.
Right. Referrals. Yeah.
Regardless of how that happens, people will go to your website and they're going to go to your social media. That's just
Mhm.
how they go. They want to see, okay,
What are they looking for? Yeah. Tell me what
they
you're
want to
looking
see, do they seem likable? Do they seem legit?
for.
Right?
Uh-huh.
If they go to your Facebook and it looks like their grandma's Facebook and it has 25 followers and a post from last May, and it just looks unprofessional. It's just one reflection, right?
Right.
Just like your banner or your logo outside, like it's just one little reflection, right? So people are looking for, is this person likable? Are they authorities, right? Ultimately, are they who they say they are, right?
Got you.
Is this a dentist? Are they legit?
Few scrolls down, they're liking them, they're with it, they have some technology, they're
Right.
talking about some cool things, they're current,
Mm,
and they are who they say they are. That's it, right? They're not there to
exactly.
be entertained.
Yeah, it's few scrolls down.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to be a TikTok doctor where it's like we need to post content every day. We become an entertainer. That's not the goal. Most people don't even want to follow their dentist.
No, no, no. Right.
You know what I
Most
mean?
people care. I
Most
mean,
people
there's
won't
a few
even
good ones out there, but
right.
it's not what dentists want to be doing, to be honest, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they don't.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's how like people's mind, psychology, right? We're looking for shortcuts at every point.
Yeah.
So the shortcuts we're looking for is like, okay, if they've posted this much, and I can see a few of the keywords, they're talking about dentures, they're talking about small makeover, they're talking about, I can see a couple before and afters. Oh,
Mhm.
the doctor's speaking about this
Reviews.
testimonial. Oh man, he seems heartfelt. He's really talking about how this patient moved. Little things like that, that's good enough for
Yeah.
most people,
Yeah.
right? So ultimately, they just want to see how likable you are. And the thing is, like, you don't have to invest a lot into that. It's not posting every day. It's
Mhm.
just maintaining a decent presence,
A decent flow.
decent flow,
Yeah.
right?
Just keep it current.
Because ultimately, you mentioned this to me in another call, is people are really desperate for connection.
Mhm.
That's what they're looking for. And there's so much noise.
Yeah.
They are looking for services being pushed on them, doctors this. People are looking for connection, right?
And after COVID, it just did a number on people, and we just see it so much more. It's like just the smallest little thing, right? Is that connection.
Mm.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Anything else on that middle of the funnel?
Yeah, I would just say, like, having those videos and that content is what
Mhm.
allows you to create that connection and break through the noise a little bit.
I love it.
Break through the
So,
noise.
so, so that is valuable. That's 2024, what a social media should look like. Just little bits, not too
Yeah,
overwhelming. You don't need
if
to
there
post every day.
right. If there's anything from the three segments that we're looking at, this is the segment where it's like you kind of have to do this.
Okay,
This
got
is
you.
the segment where this isn't about getting ahead and generating new patients. This is about not losing market share.
Oh my God.
You know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
powerful.
And the bonus to this is it also provides alignment with your audience,
Mm,
right? And I know we've even seen that in our business,
yeah.
as far as like when we put out videos and we're basically saying, here's who we are, here's who we're helping, here's how we're helping, here's what we can do, right? We attract more of the people that turn out to be great
Yeah.
clients, right?
Because
And
they hear our message. They're
because they
hearing
hear
us
our
and
message,
connecting with it.
right? And we also attract less of those people who they would be a paycheck, they would be a sale, a check mark,
Yeah.
right? But we all know those clients, those patients who end up costing us more on the back end in time, materials, energy, team morale, right? And they become a suck.
Right. And
They're
I
just
think
never going to be happy,
yeah,
you know?
I think that's definitely become way more important for dental practices now because they have thinner teams and the teams are a
Right.
little bit more fragile.
Oh,
So
so
right. So the more that they can enjoy the people, the patients coming in and they get their messaging, the new patient experience is a lot easier because they think they know them because they've seen them on some videos, the Instagram life, I guess. But yeah, I think that that's definitely would be a positive for figuring out how to invest in it or how to do it. Okay, so then there's the bottom of the funnel. So explain to me a little bit about that. What does that look like for them?
yeah, so we kind of started talking about this a little bit with, attracting the right type of patients,
Okay.
right? And people kind of self-selecting in or out, saying, yeah, this is the practice I want to work with, right?
Okay.
Almost pre-selecting themselves. So bottom of the funnel, these are patients who are actually ready to move forward. They're ready to move forward with high ticket services, but they're just looking for the right person to do it. They're looking for more information. They're looking for trust, right? These are the ones that are digging a little deeper, right? And so
And if
the
they're digging deeper, they're digging for bigger services, right?
oh yeah,
That's
absolutely, yeah. It's
okay.
kind of when they're ready to, they're serious, right? They're ready to
Yeah.
move forward. These are the ones where if you were to post a 10-minute video, they'd actually watch the whole thing.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
You know?
That's commitment.
Right, that's that's commitment these days. Um, so ultimately, when we bring it back to, okay, how does social media play a role in this, right?
Mhm.
And it comes down to short form, educational, and again, value driven videos and content, right? Saying you are who you say you are, and that you're an authority on this topic, right? If someone is looking for an implant dentist and they go on their Instagram and they see on pin reels, okay, story time about this patient I help with implants. Okay, how to finance your implants. Okay, who's a candidate, right? These little topics automatically, okay, this is the guy. Versus you go to another page, you see nothing. You see generic content. It's not branded. It's just, there's no videos. On top of that, which is probably even just as important, it allows people to feel your heart, the passion, the care you have for your patients, right? When you hear someone's voice speaking on a topic, you can tell, is this person actually know what they're talking about or not? You can just tell. And then
Right.
we also want them to hear your expert voice. So we want them to feel your heart and hear your voice, right?
Mm.
So they can tell this person is truly an authority on this topic. And again, it doesn't take long. We're not talking about even making those 10, 20, 30-minute long form videos about the details of how to place an implant bridge retain denture. Like, that's not what it's about. This is about just, giving people content that's aligned with where they're at in the buyer's journey. What information do they need to hear? What trust points do they need to hear so that when they are ready to move forward, they're actually ready to move forward.
I got you.
I know in our business, we've seen that,
Hmm.
right? When we've invested small amounts of time, few hours a month to create content, not with any real, intention behind it, but just like, how can we serve?
Right. It was serving.
It's
Hmm.
almost
Educate.
every time you see it leads to more sales calls, better sales calls. The ones that jump on, they're more ready to close.
Well,
Right?
and I just have to confess, it's like, I mean, I hate social media. I didn't want to do it. I fought it for years, like, and it's like we were really pushed to do it. But then it became like being of service, like, oh, I can get into that. Like that, like felt good once I got comfortable, doing it. And it was like
Mhm.
a lot easier than I expected. But yeah, talking to the people coming in, thanking me for putting educational pieces out, that completely shifted like why I woke up every morning,
Mhm.
like, in servicing, because I've been in this for so long, like 25 years, taking care of dental practices and stuff. It does add something. And I think even in dentistry, it can get into the grind of day to day, that sort of thing. But even kind of reigniting why you're a service care provider
Mhm.
and being that thought leader could also make them feel better about the patients coming. The patients feel it. There's more connection and relationship. And I think that means a lot to people. nowadays, and just getting
It-
past that social media sucks and videos is hard, and that sort of thing. It's a big shift, and it does get a lot easier.
Yeah, it does. That connection does mean a lot to people. And you said about it gets easier. There is a little barrier, but
Mhm.
ultimately, I mean, you've been in this business for 25 years.
Yeah,
Most of these doctors have been practicing for 10 years plus.
right.
Even if it's less than that, you've put in a lot of work. You
Yes.
haven't got there by accident, right? So it's not like all of a sudden you need to completely shift gears.
Right.
You're really just looking for ways to put what you're already doing, the care you're already putting, put it a little bit on video, right?
Yes.
The expertise you've spent, who knows? I mean, for these doctors, who knows how many hours they've spent at continuing education in college and
Right.
hours and hours. You just
Right.
got to put 5-10 minutes of that in some videos. That's
Yeah.
not, I mean, for everything you invested to get that education and that knowledge, it's not
That's
much.
a good point. That's a good point, because they put so much time and money into their technology and their continued education. How are people to know it? How are
Right.
they to know that they're different from the competition unless they know it or they feel them talking about it? It's just not enough just to say I want 50 butts in the seats every month. We need the right kind of butts. We need some good butts in the seats, like people that really, want that quality, but even understanding what they've done to be able to be that guy you talked about, right? That
Mhm.
this is the guy or the gal that's going to help me, with my smile, with my confidence, whatever that is, because it's a big shift. I mean,
It's a
I've been
big,
without some front teeth before, and
yeah.
it's like you got to get your smile going on. So it is very important what they do.
And you want people who you trust when you're making those big decisions. And ultimately, people on average need 8 to 16 touch points before they buy. That could be
Dang.
phone call, email, text message, sales
Yeah.
call, all those are one touch point, right? So this is just really adding some more touch points to build that trust. And ultimately, so that when it comes down to brass taxes and you're offering these high ticket treatment plans, because you know this is the best, you know, option for this person, you're
Right.
not holding back because of insurance or this or that. Those people are going to be more likely to say yes because they have that trust versus seeing a $10,000 treatment plan. Like, I don't know, maybe I need a second opinion. Maybe I need to wait. Maybe I need to da, 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 right. And because they've already built that trust. Right?
Mhm.
And so it's a huge factor of it, right? That social media plays a part in it.
All right. So give me an outline, like just a ending conclusion synopsis to just so they can have in their head, what does social media look like in 2024 for them? Like what should
Right.
they
So
really?
social media, it's ultimately about content creation and videos. It's about creating valuable, educational content that allows people to meet you, to feel you, to hear your voice, and provide value through answering questions, giving contextual explanations of how things work that help them in the buyer's journey.
Mhm.
It can help you generate new audiences, right? By becoming a thought leader in your industry, which there's a huge space for that in dental
Right.
because no one's really doing it. It's also going to help you make the most of the marketing efforts you're already doing,
Mm,
including referrals, paid ads, whatever, because when people come check you out, you have an aligned brand. It
mm.
builds
Makes
trust.
the other marketing more productive and less
The other
expensive.
marketing more productive, exactly. So you get better ROI. And then on the third level, when you create this content and videos that show your authority, that show that expertise, you're also speaking to those people who are ready to move forward on high ticket services and answer their questions and build that trust before they even come in the door. So when they do come in the door, it's way easier. They're pre-closed pretty much. So
Got
that's
it.
kind of a synopsis just from what we're seeing, not only how we've used it for our business, but ultimately for our clients' business of what does social media actually look like right now in the current scene.
I love it. And can we say social media sucks, but we have to do it?
Yeah, yeah. We all know social media sucks. No
But
one
we
wants to be a
gotta do
TikTok.
it.
No one wants to be a TikTok star. Come
No one
on.
wants to be a TikTok star. But we got you. We got you. We got a plan. We got a plan. Thank you, Dominique. Thank you.